If you have ever had that experience or fear of putting your work out there and someone leaving a mean remark, this episode is for you. So this has been one of my biggest top contenders and fears in writing books, in sharing these podcast episodes, in building businesses. I always used to be so afraid of what if someone left a mean comment or a bad review or feedback. And so today I want to share this two-step process that can help. It's, not a cure-all, but it can help alleviate the fear of that unknown a lot. If you want more on this topic, then check out my brand new book, Shine Bright, which is all about discovering your message, building confidence sharing, and making a difference. I am pulling today from chapter 7, which is all about navigating external criticism. So in the book, you learn how to discover your unique message. Everyone has one, your perfect fit audience and platform and way of sharing, and then how to get into navigating the fears that come up, the things in your head that say, I can't do this, or what if someone doesn't like it? And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is just, two of the little steps or strategies that are inside this book in more detail. If you're interested, you can get it on Amazon or on Audible, where I narrate, so I get to read to you, kind of like this. But let's get into it. So if you've ever had that fear, what do? These are the things that help me. You want to have a mix of two things. The first one is you want to think about your strategy steps for if your worst fear happens. So let's say you put your podcast out in the world and someone does leave a mean review. What do you actually do? If you think about this ahead of time, you can alleviate that fear of kind of like you won't know how to handle it if it happens, or that there's nothing you can do. So if someone does leave a mean review on your podcast, on a book that you put out, maybe you get a rejection letter from a screenplay that you pitched, maybe you get a negative piece of feedback from a customer, actually write out 3 to 5 steps of what would you do if that happened? So with the podcast example, if you got a negative review, and you can apply this to whatever your scenario is. So maybe it's just a negative comment on social media, on an Instagram post or a tweet or whatever it may be. What do? Pure and simple, you would probably see the review and you could choose to either reply if it's somewhat of a decent review that seems like it warrants engagement. You could ignore it. You could transfer it if you have a team to an assistant, so you maybe don't even see it, and you can just say, if I get a negative review, please respond like this. There's so many different directions, but just having a plan makes you realize that it's not this all-encompassing moment you'll never get over. It's really just, as a business owner or a creator, something that you can handle, that you can either choose to reply to or not, and then you can move on and close that book. All right, if it's a negative feedback from a client, let's say they email you that they don't like your work, and you're so nervous because your business is new and you really want everyone to like it, but what if someone says something bad? Okay, so make your strategy steps. What would you do? Most likely you would reply back and you would say, thank you so much for your feedback. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's hop on a call and I'll figure out how I can make it right. Something like that, right? You could do it via email. My previous business coach and friend, Lacey Seitz, she used to always say, I won't always get it right, but I can make it right. And that gave her confidence that even if she accidentally, with the best intentions, messed up sometimes, or something she couldn't foresee received this negative backlash or went viral in a bad way online, that she could make it right. And the same is true for you. So if someone didn't like your product or service, what would your strategy steps be? That is really this first bucket, is what would you do to make it right? And then you just realize that you have so much ability to do the right thing, to solve any situation. And yes, it might be a little bit uncomfortable, and we'll get to how to handle that next, but it is within your power to make something right, to rectify a relationship, to handle the complexity. And that's why you can be this business owner or creator that you want to be, because you can put yourself out there, you can have someone misinterpret something or not like what you do, and you can move forward like a professional regardless. So that's kind of the first step, is like, what would you do from a strategy perspective? Write it down, make a Google Doc or a Word doc and have your process in place, because then you can stop that endless loop in your head that says, well, what if this happens? I wouldn't know what to do. It would be so bad and so scary. And you can realize actually, like, you have a 3-step process and you will survive, and then it will really be done, and you'll move on with your beautiful life and career and business that you're creating for yourself. So that's kind of the first major step or bucket that I think about, is strategy wise. What would I actually do? Write it down, have your plan, move on with your life. And you will probably find that this happens way less than you think it does. And just knowing you have a plan kind of prevents your energy from kind of almost like attracting that situation in a way. Not to say that like you're the fault of it, but just you're going to stop agonizing over it as much, which is going to stop that loop and fear of like, what if, drawing it to you, and you can just have your plan and like forget about it until it happens. Does that make sense? Okay. The second step or bucket I think about is, okay, you have your strategy steps. What are your comfort steps? Because at the end of the day, you're still a human, and we need to acknowledge that, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to have someone leave a comment that you don't like, or to not like your work, or to leave a, review or something like that. Instead of trying to make that wrong, what can you do to actually just boost your own comfort in that moment? So this could be as simple as you do your strategy steps, you hit reply on the email, you try and make it right to the best of your ability, you over deliver next time so that the client is still happy with you. And then what do? Then maybe at the end of the day, you take a warm bath. You go on a walk with your dog. You go out for a glass of wine with a girlfriend. You call your parent, whoever it is. You just do something that from a comforting level feels good. I remember having a rough day years ago, and it was something so small, but I was in Whole Foods getting groceries, and I remember seeing like rose water or something kind of fun and girly stand out on a shelf. And I remember just adding it to my cart. I didn't even know what I would do with it. It was like $6, but it made me feel so good to be like a little luxurious and nourished in this moment. This probably sounds so cheesy. It's such a small thing, but that's the point. It's like, you don't have to book $100 massage. You can, but you can also just treat yourself to a nice coffee, or like the thing that you would never buy at the store, the grocery store, if it makes you feel good. And just something like that can actually do a lot at a soul level for just nourishing and acknowledging this was a hard day, you survived it, like go you, and let's give yourself a little creature comfort to help. So again, can be as simple as something free, like getting cozy under a really comfy blanket and just acknowledging that, giving yourself a little nap or warm bath or a nice cup of tea. Can be a few dollars, like a nice fun coffee out that you wouldn't normally get, or a bouquet of flowers, or something cute that just stands out to you at a market. Or it could be something bigger, like it has been a day, I've done my best, I've crossed a new level and threshold in my business or my life as a creative person. Let me go book the massage or the facial or buy the cute yoga outfit or whatever it is. All right. So between those two things, I find that can solve a lot of issues. Just number one, having that strategy step, and you can have it written out, and you can have your 3 steps for if something happens, how do you reply? What do you do? If necessary, how do you over deliver next time? And then on the other side, you have your comfort steps, which speaks to the human you who just needs to know, once you do the thing and you reply and you are a professional about it, how do you bring down the nervous system kind of anxiety and tone, and just acknowledge that it was a big day and give yourself that comfort as well. So those 2 things can be really helpful for navigating external criticism, or just feedback. It doesn't even have to be mean intended. It can just be feedback that you don't love and that maybe you're afraid of receiving, or you did just receive. And again, if you're looking for more, the more complete version that I can get into in one podcast episode, then go check out my book, Shine Bright. This is chapter 7, Navigating External Criticism. And you will find so many more chapters around discovering your message, building confidence, sharing, and making a difference. I will see you again next week. Thank you again, and leave something in the comments if this has been a challenge for you, or what you're navigating related to this. And people can share their expertise. I'm happy to weigh in as well, and just normalize that this is part of being a business owner, being a creative person, and putting your heart out there. And we all get through it and learn and become able to hold more and more as we do.